Hey guys. Okay, we are cruising into basically the final project of the semester. You guys have done well in every program. We've talked about a ton of skills in each one of those. We've learned new tools. We've also talked about design principles. We've done the reverse engineer posts. So this project that you guys are going into is really pulling all of that together. I wanted to go over and just cover some of the design expectations and also kind of walk you through the project a little bit so you can see how it all comes together and kind of what I'm going to be looking for as I look through drafts and grade your final slide design project. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can all look at the slide design draft expectations together. Okay, just like every other project, I'm going to have you guys turn in a project report. There's going to be parts 1 and part 2. Obviously, part 1 is with this week. Part 2 is with the final. We're going to do the pericritique and everything just the same as we always do. So to begin with, go ahead and fill out project report part 1. Then I want you to take a look at the draft design. Before we even get into that, I want to talk to you just a little bit about what I'm really looking for. This project, like I mentioned, pulls all the pieces and everything that we've learned together. So you're going to be using different programs within the Adobe suite. You're going to be looking at the reverse engineer post that we did at the very beginning of the semester. You're going to be using those skills. You're also going to be showing me that you have time management, that you can manage between creating an additional ad that matches the one you've selected for your brand, and writing kind of that reverse engineer information, but you're also going to be showing me that you have enough time and skills to go ahead and create a new ad that pairs, and then also put it into a slide design and create a slide design that promotes kind of the look and feel of the brand and the ad that you've chosen. Okay, so there's lots of pieces here. This is not an easy thing, but on a daily basis, if you're going to work in designer communications, you're going to end up doing quite a bit of handling, juggling a lot of different things at once. Okay. So those are all the things that I'm going to be looking for in addition to just all the parts and pieces. But your draft design, you need to make sure that you cover all those 100% of the requirements, just like everything else. So I wanted to have you go over, let's see, just the minimum expectations before I have you look at the example. The first thing that you're going to do is to pick a professional ad. So the easiest way to do this, it even says, is to just go in and Google a company that you're interested in and the words ad to basically come up with something. One thing that I will tell you, I want you to pick something current. I don't want an ad from the 1950s, although that's super cool. That's not what I'm looking for. I want you to show me that you can look for things on trend, okay? So things that are currently happening, okay? That way our skills that we're practicing right here are gonna be the most advantageous to us because we're working in real time, and that's gonna what we're gonna move towards as we continue in our education through BYUI Online, and then also as we move into the workforce. So something a little bit more current, okay? The second thing is that it tells you it needs at least one line of text. There needs to be a company logo, and then it says vector or raster based. As far as I'm concerned, all you need to be able to do is pull a JPEG of that ad into whatever program you're doing to create your slides, okay? So you don't need to vectorize it. You don't need to worry about rasterizing or anything like that. It will all make a little bit more sense because I'll have another video that kind of shows you how to create ad really quickly, and you'll watch me do it. So if you're interested in that video, that will help a little bit on what we're doing. But let's talk about the new ad that you're supposed to create. We did just finish a creative ad. I don't want you to create an ad that is brand new like that. Instead, what I want you to do is find an ad and then mimic it. Oftentimes you'll see they'll have what they call a series of ads that go out. So it will either be in a magazine, there will be 2 or 3 that come out over the course of several months, or whatever, but it will fit within the campaign. So they'll have a Facebook ad, a Twitter ad. I mean, they'll all show all these different places, but everything looks the same. It might be different images, it might be different taglines, but it all kind of feels the same. So from that, you'll create that new ad, then you'll go ahead and drop it into a slide design, okay? And we'll talk about the slide design and stuff just for a minute right now before we go back and look at that. But the slide design, you're going to need 6+ consistent slides, and you're going to use InDesign to create these slides, okay? That's why we use the mixed media worksheet, and you're going to start pulling elements from Illustrator or Photoshop into InDesign to see how that goes together to create that, continuous PDF, okay? I want you to really think about this. When we did the best reverse engineer ads or reverse engineer posts that I had from you guys, you covered all of the 4 design principles You also talked about typography, and you also talked about color. If you're not quite sure about those 4 design principles, exactly what name that went with each one, make sure that you go back to your text and that you take a look at those, okay? It's pretty simple, okay? Just review back and look at one of your reverse engineer posts and remind yourself what it is you're looking for when you are gonna basically dissect that ad for me, okay? And then you're basically gonna follow, I am looking for a specific slide setup as far as the size, okay? And then you're gonna basically give me kind of 1 slide per idea, and then you're going to give me a slide at the beginning that says, here's the company and the ad that I chose, and here's the ad that I put together. So you'll see as we kind of go through. So if I scroll back up right here, you can see there's a Levi's ad. I went ahead and just clicked it so that it would pop out, and that gave me a new screen. That way it's a little bit bigger. So you guys should be looking at that Levi's ad right here on the screen. You can see exactly how they've done this. So there's a logo on this ad. There's at least 1 line of text. There's some type of captivating picture, okay? So they've basically given me an introduction. This is the Go Forth ad campaign. Then they're going to say, okay, we're taking a closer look at this. And then they're going to tell me very clearly, this is the original ad. Then you're going to go down and you're going to say, okay, the design. They're going to tell me that there's hand-painted and distressed logos, that these hand-painted brush strokes kind of give that free-spirited style that Levi's portrays, okay? So it's just like a reverse engineer ad, only I want you to do it pretty much all through slide design. Basically what will end up happening is we'll record you guys giving your slide presentation. You'll record a video and then submit that for kind of a final project. And this is what you would do if you were pitching a project to a client, okay? You would put together some type of presentation and you kind of walk them through it. It might be just over the phone through a video type of conference, or it might be in person. You're gonna wanna pull out, they talk about typography in this ad. So you can tell they use the same thing, you know, the dots and the lines to draw my eye to wherever it is. And then they tell me sans serif, handwritten style font. They also tell me it adds a casual and vintage feel. That fits the brand. Okay, we already pulled that out. Then obviously they talk about color as well. Okay, then they give me a new ad. Okay, they let me know now we're moving into the ad that I created. Okay, then they're going to show me, okay, there's some consistencies. We use the red and the white from the Levi's previous ad. We use kind of a distressed logo and vintage feel. You're also going to show me that you've got another handwritten font. This is quite a bit different from the top one, and that's okay, but keep it within the same realm. Okay. And then they're going to say that they have kind of that photo-like style. The colors are very similar to the previous ad too, okay? So that's something to keep in mind. And then you're just going to kind of end it like with a logo or your final thoughts or something like that, okay? That essentially will cover what it is that you're supposed to do. I know probably a few of you are feeling a little bit anxious. You guys have spent a lot of time working on these projects, and now when I say, okay, I want you to pull several things together at once, I want you to work in InDesign, I want you to work in Photoshop or Illustrator, that gets you a little panicked because time is hard to manage. Let me tell you straight up, this is a draft on this week, okay? We're gonna go through a peer critique. If your ad is not 100% perfect, that's okay. There is time to revise some of this. The biggest thing is that I want you to get from start to finish so that you have a full draft to turn in so that then you can critique your peers and your peers can critique you. If it's not perfect, that's okay. You can go in and refine your ad just a little bit, okay? There might be some critique actually that comes back, and you can even say as you post your critique, hey, I didn't have time to distress the font. Hey, I didn't have time to finish this piece. But with that said, as you pick your ad, make sure that you're picking an ad that isn't terribly hard to recreate, okay? So if you know that you're not super great at the pen tool or something, don't pick something that's gonna really push you just to recreate an ad. Does that make sense? The other thing is that it is not okay to basically drag and drop text from the previous ad or the original ad over to yours. I want you to add something new. There will be one more video that I'll show you that's basically me just creating an ad. And that way you have a kind of an idea of about how long it should take and maybe a little bit of what to look for. And it will just give you one more example to go along with this Levi's example, so you'll have a better idea of what you're looking for. But this whole concept really is just for me to see kind of your abilities on understanding design principles, also to see if you can choose the right program to use and your skills within that program, and then your time management and your ability to put all the pieces together. I totally believe in you guys. You have this. I know lots of you are feeling a little bit anxious about this, but you are much more skilled than you think you are, and you are definitely a lot more skilled than you were at the beginning of the semester. So with that, get started, keep working on your mixed media worksheet, and know that you can totally do this. If you have questions, send me an email or ask on the discussion boards. I will do my best to answer. I've got 2 sections, so there's quite a few of you, plus I'm trying to catch up on grades. So we should be just cruising along this week. You guys are great.